All right, welcome back, everyone. This is still day 3 of week 1 of Web Fundamentals. We're going to go over more Flex, right? We're going to do some more Flex work. We learned what Flex was this morning. We said it was a better alternative to inline block to position our divs on our page. We're going to continue with that. We're going to do some more practice after I do this demo. Okay, so this is not going to be the usual lecture where I introduce more material. We're going to do something, we're going to build something from scratch. Okay, so let's get started. But before I, excuse me, before I start building, I wanted to give an introduction to what I'm building, okay? So we're going to work on someone's style of art. So I wanted to explore who the artist was before we started replicating his art. So let's look at who I am going to, and you as well are going to make some art, replicate some art after. Okay, so this is Pierre Mondrian. Who is Pierre Mondrian? He's a Dutch painter who, according to Wikipedia, was regarded as one of the greatest artists of the 20th century, known for being one of the pioneers of abstract art. Okay, so we're going to build some abstract art. I have here some a Google search of different Pierre Mondrian art pieces, and the one I've chosen for this demo for me to do is this one here. Okay, I'm going to work with this one. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move this to the side. Let me move my zoom tools around for a second. Okay, so I'm going to build this thing using Flex, only Flex. Okay, no more inline block. So how can we build this art piece here? Let me draw a little bit on the screen so that you can see how I would approach this, and I want you to start to do the same for every type of, well, what this is doing, this is preparing us to look at websites, to cut it into pieces, look at websites, to diagram websites, and then also build it. So we're going to look at this art piece and go ahead and use this technique. So let me go ahead and annotate here with some tools, but my annotation tools are not popping up. So I'm going to have to use some other types of tools. So hold on a second. Let's see here. I need to know which one is the one that's going to make squares. So give me a second. It is the rectangle. Okay, Command Z. All right, so I want the overall arching square to be like this. Okay, so I have this is my container for the whole entire square that I'm seeing on the right. Okay, so I have my grand square here. This is this. All right, I just wanted to outline the whole thing and start with the container. All right, this is going to be within the body. Now that I have my container, I want to think to myself and look and think, how can I divide this into the biggest chunks? Can I divide this into rows or columns? That is, like, can I divide it into halves, having it in the middle, or having it in the vertically, right? So like when I'm looking at this square, I can't see a way to divide it evenly, given I don't want to interrupt any of the squares that are already made here, right? So I'm looking at creating squares within squares to line myself up. Can I create it this way? Well, no, because then I'm interrupting this area here. Okay, so I'm interrupting this area here and this one, so I can't go there. This is not an option. So hold on a second, I'm trying to erase. we are. Okay. So we can't do that option. The next, the only approach I see here is to make rows like this. Rows, a big row up top and a small row below. So that's what we'll have to do here. So let me do this in another color. All right, so my top row, that's going to be one div within my container div. All right, so that's going to be one div. And so that leaves me one more row to create below this one. So I'll make this one in yellow. So this one will be the bottom row. Okay, so, and these two divs are going to stack one on top of another naturally, right? I don't have to do anything to make two divs stack one on top of another. So I'll leave these like this. And now I'm going to work inside the top row. Okay, I'm going to go inside the top row. And what do I do in here? I see in this top row, let me switch color. You can divide it this way. I see a square here and a rectangle here. So in my top row here, now I'm going to create a div that's going to be that square on the left and a div that's going to be that rectangle to the right of it. And in order to make them side by side, what I have to do is make this blue container for the square and the rectangle display flex. Okay, I have to make the container that holds the square and the rectangle display flex. All right, and so now someone else here, I want to guide me. What's my next step? Now that I've gotten this far, what should I do next?
Possibly set the height and width of the box.
Okay, we're setting the height and width by making them either squares or rectangles. I'm talking about like the way that the order of how we're going to build this. How are we going to, what squares in which order, and what rules are we going to apply besides height and width? That's a good answer, but not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for which boxes are going to be within containers that I apply display flex to.
You like box 1, box 2, maybe,
Yeah.
and you do like blue, yellow, red, or yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I called this one top row. This is my blue box that I'm pointing to, right? So there's that. So within this drawing here, what's the next order of boxes that I should create to continue and finish my outline? Let's look on the top left box here. Okay, top left box is the one I'm gonna work on next. All right, so here in this top left box, I see I can divide this into
3.
Well, it has to be, I want to divide it into big chunks first before I make into small pieces. So the two big chunks are in a row order, right? Because we have, oh, sorry. Well, let me undo that. Okay, go back to rectangle. What's the rectangle? It's Control Z. Okay. Okay, so there's this row here above and this row below. And within the row above, we have two boxes. This one and then the yellow one on the right. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do on the left. We're gonna in our top left corner box, we're gonna create two boxes. So what color should I do it? I'll do it in green. Okay. My top left corner is going to have two divs, one div and a second div. They're going to stack on top of one another without having to do anything. I don't have to apply display flex on this red one, right? So this red one does not need display flex on it. Okay, when I say red one, I mean this here. This red box that I'm pointing to does not need it doesn't need flex because they stack on top of one another vertically naturally. All right, inside this green box, within the small red box, I have a blue one and a yellow one here. So that's what I'm going to draw on my left. So blue one. Made the wrong move. Okay. Blue box. And then a yellow box to the right of it. Right? Those are these here. So what do I have to do to make these go side by side next to each other? Just as they are here.
Flex that top green one.
Exactly. So the green one, I have to apply flex to. Okay. Flex to the green container will make the children go side by side in a row next to each other. Okay, so that's what I would do for the rest of, so I'm almost done. I'll just finish it now. How can we divide, what's the biggest, what's the smallest number of chunks I can cut this piece into?
3.
Right, 3. I can't cut it into 2 because if I cut a horizontal line in the middle anywhere, then I'm cutting the this rectangle in half, right? And if I cut a line vertically anywhere, then I'm either not accounting for, well, actually I could divide it into 2. I could divide it into 2 if I look at it this way. Let's see. Okay, so I'll make it blue. I could cut one piece here and then another piece here to the right of it. No, that red's not that visible, but let me draw it on the left. You know what though, before I draw it, the answer is 3. Okay, so the answer is 3. Let's just draw 3 rectangles in a row. We don't have to draw 2 and cut the one on the right in half. 3 is a good number. I was just showing that there's more than one way that you can cut up a square. So there's more than one way to do it. I'm going to go with 3. So we have the left side, the yellow block. Okay, so I'll make the yellow block here on the left. We have the middle column that has 2 halves. So we'll make the middle column here in the middle. And the red column. Okay. And so in order to make these go side by side, what do I have to do now?
Flex the bottom yellow box.
Exactly. Flex bottom row. Okay, I gotta flex the bottom row. Now I just have to do one more thing in order to complete it, which is I need to create 2 divs in my center column, one for the top half and then one for the bottom half. Okay, so I don't need to flex my container for those 2 there because they just stack on top of each other naturally. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have to do when I'm creating my HTML. These are the containers that I'm going to have to apply flex to. I'm going to have to apply flex to the top row, to the bottom row, to the row in the top left corner that holds the 2 squares, the blue and the yellow one. And that's about it. So let's go to create this design. I'm going to do my attempt. I'm going to show that what we do here in diagramming everything is a key step to completing everything. Maybe I should screenshot this. It's kind of a messy. Let me move the background a little bit. Actually, I can't. Let me just screenshot this in case we need this. Okay. And all right, let's get to creating the code. Right, I need to stop annotating. Okay, I can't stop annotating. Hold on a second. There we are. All right, where's my zoom tools to clear my drawings? Hold on a second. Okay. I don't want to dig out this thing, but I have to, or else I can't work with this yellow marking. So let me find my zoom tool that's going to let me clear that in a second. Let me stop sharing and then reshare. How about that? That's going to do it. There we are. Okay, that fixed it. Okay, let's get started again. So don't need that. Okay. All right, so we need to build our HTML. The way we start is with the exclamation mark, enter. Okay. So I have my HTML on my left, CSS on my right, and I need to link my CSS to my HTML. So let's start with that. Okay. Link, :CSS, enter. And because I named my CSS style.css, my shortcut automatically links it. I don't have to do anything else. Now I do want to test my connection, and I want you guys to have a habit of testing your connection as soon as you make it, because if you don't get in this habit, you'll probably start building and then forget to link it. Sometimes you just do that. But if you make this habit, then you won't ever have that issue. So just create an H1, hello world, and then create an H1 and make the color red. Such an easy step to forget. And if you open with live server, okay, I'm going to pull this up. Here it is. Hello world. Okay, so I know my CSS is connected to my HTML now. All right, so let's get to building this square. Here it is. So I want to make a overall container, right? So what I'm going to do is say div dot container and then hit enter. That's a shortcut to make a div with the class container. Right? I'll do that again. Div dot container. Enter, enter. So now I have a div with the class container. And here I have my CSS. So I don't need this anymore. I know that I have a connection. And I'm creating this here. So I have my container. Let's give my container some depth. So I'll say dot container to target the class, right? Because that dot means target the class with the name container. So this is targeting, dot container is targeting this class container. So let's write height. Let's make the height 400 pixels. And the width also 400 pixels. So going to be a square. So it needs the same height and width. So let's take a look at what we have. Oh, all right. And we need a background color. So background color, we'll make it red. So nice and visible. All right. So we can make it bigger. About 500 by 500. Okay, that's better. It's about the same size. Okay, so we have our container and we can change the background color later, but this is where we start. This is what we start with. So what's the next step? What are the next set of divs that we should create now that we've created our container? What did we say that we were going to do?
The
Top row and the bottom row.
Mm-hmm. The top row and the bottom row. So let's do that now. So div dot top dash row, enter. And then I'll do another one below it. Div dot bottom dash row, enter. So I have two rows now. Top row, bottom row. Okay, so now let's give some height and width and background color to our top and bottom rows so that we can see them, because right now they're there. Let's take away our background color. And let's say to our divs, top row, we have an outline, 2 pixels, solid red. Okay, let's see. This is our top row in our container. When we create a div, it starts off as a straight line. So it's there. Our top row and our bottom row are in our container. We now just need to give them some visibility so that we can work within them and start building. So top row, let's say it should have a height of, well, if this is a 500 pixel tall square, then maybe this is 2/3 of it. So a height of 200 pixels. And we need a background color. Let's make it white. Okay, and let's add a border to our container. So I'll say border 10 pixels, solid black. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so here we are. This is our container so far. Now, let's give some outline to our top row. So let's take that border and give it to the top row. Okay, so now we have a division there. So we're getting closer. We'll fine tune the details at the end. So we can see the difference between the top row and the bottom row now. So for the top row, well, let's not give any more hints. I'm talking to myself here. What's the next step that I should do?
Give your top row 2 children divs.
Right. Top row needs 2, right? It needs the left half and the right half. So let's create it within the top row here. What do we want to call the 2 children? What should we call them?
Small and large.
Biggie and Smalls?
Biggie and small.
Okay. I'll do it because it's funny. Div dot smalls. And that's going to be our small one in the left. Okay, this is getting silly. But normally what I would name it is top left of row or square. So this is just as fine. I mean, this is just an art piece, so there's nothing specific, right? We're coming up with names that we are using for ourselves, as long as we can understand. Try not to get too silly though, because then, you know, when you're sharing your code, it's like, what are we naming our divs? Anyways, all right, we know what this is. All right. What does this now need? Well, we need the one to the big one, right? So we said biggie. All right, that's the big one to the right, the big white one. So, all right, so what's our next step now?
So I have a question. So do we not have Biggie inside with the container, with the top row?
It is there. Look, the top row, when I click the top row.
Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry.
Okay, you got it. Great. All right, so now we need to
make 2 more children div inside smalls.
yes, but before we do that, let's give some color to our small and big one here. Okay, we need to give some color to it so that, and then move in. So let's go to this one. And so what is the height and width that I should give this one here? I mean, if this is 200 high, then we know that that's how tall the square is, right? So then a square needs to be the same on all sides. So we need to say that our small square here is going to be having a height and width of 200. So we'll say height 200 pixels, width 200 pixels, and a background color of, let's see, red. Okay, so there's now our,
I have a question, Josh.
yes.
Can you go back to your CSS?
Uh-huh.
Why did the top row not need the width dimension? Like, why with just the height it was fine?
Because the div will be a line stretched across its container's width.
Oh, okay.
So when you say give it a height, then you're just giving it's already having a width, which is its container's width.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This one I gave a width just because I was trying to think, what are the dimensions of a square? I realized the height was 200, so I gave it the width of 200 as well. So this one needed just actually, if I got rid of the height for this one, or no, if I got rid of the width for this one, what would it be? No, I need it back there for it to be a square. So this now area to the right of it, that's my rectangle. Okay, so that's my rectangle. And so now I want to, what's my next step? what can I do next?
Do we want to put a border or maybe some spacing in between the two so that they aren't touching?
You mean in the top left
Yeah.
box here?
In between small and biggie, I guess.
Right. So we want to create, yeah, let's create a border for that. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll take this border and I'll put it in here. Okay, so I've got that there. And let's put a border on our bottom row. We didn't even touch our bottom row. So let's create our bottom row. Okay, let's do that below. Let's do that below small. So let's create this area here. Bottom row. And this is going to have a height of 300 pixels and a background color of white. Okay, and I guess I eliminated my bottom row, so let me make it smaller. 280. Okay, so there we are. And we can add the border in our bottom row here as well. Hold on a second, I gotta make this smaller. There we are. Okay. Okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now we just need to create the top left box, and then we have 3 columns on the bottom. All right, so top left box, what do we need to do? We added that border around. And so we need to do what? Someone's saying.
Probably put another div inside of it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No, we definitely do.
Okay.
What we need to do is let's create 2 divs. Actually, we only need to create 1 div. The background is already red, so that'll serve as that bottom row. Let's just create a div, 1 div within it. And this div is going to have 2 divs within it, right? The blue box and the yellow box. So 1 div within here. The background color for this small box here is going to serve as the bottom row. Okay, we're just going to place 1 div in here, and it's going to overlap within, and we're going to give it some color. So let's go inside that small square and say, what do we want to call it? Top row. We'll just call it the top row. So div. No, we already have one called top row, so we can't call it that. Can't do that. So we'll call this square, small square row, small square row. Div dot small dash square dash row. Enter. Okay, so I want to place my CSS selectors relative to where I'm placing my class names in my elements here. So let's create them to be in the same order if we can. So somewhere around biggie. Did we do anything for?
We didn't do one
Oh
for
no, we
biggie
put
yet.
it. We put this one in the wrong one. I put this in biggie. This should be
Yeah.
in small. So excuse me there. I'm gonna cut this out and then paste it in the right place. So we should have been in smalls all along. All right, so now we have that. And I pasted it in small. So I'm going to go underneath smalls in my CSS and say dot small square row. And I'm going to give it some height. And I'm going to say the height is going to be 100 pixels. And a background color of yellow. Okay, so there I am. Okay, I have my background color of yellow. And I don't actually have to create two boxes in here. I can just create another div within this yellow one here. And this will just be another blue one. So this one will be a small blue square. So I'll just call small blue square within this yellow row. So I'll say div dot small blue square. Okay. And underneath here, I'll say dot small dash blue dash square. Okay, let me open this up again. And I'll say height 100 pixels. And I know it needs a width of 100 pixels as well. And a background color of blue. Okay, and there I am. Now I have these three colors. I need to give them some borders there so that they have those black borders. So let's do that now. Put this black border in the yellow one and the blue one. Okay, that's too much. So let's take it out of the blue one. I think we should have taken it out of this one. I kind of just did this quickly without thinking. So let me put it back here. I think what's going on is that whenever you add border, you're increasing the size of the fence around it.
Couldn't we just add the border just to like the left or
Well,
to the right and bottom of the square?
Yes, there is one solution. Let me try this solution here with you guys. What you can do is target everything. Let's target everything. Box sizing, border box. And let's see it now. Okay. Okay, this looks a little cleaner, but not exactly what I was hoping for, but we can work with it. In fact, I want to try something else. What I want to do is switch all my borders to be outlines, because outlines work a little bit different than borders. Outlines don't take up as much space in the box model. So what's going on is when I create this border here, they are stacking borders. So this one has a border, this one has a border. And so it looks extremely deep here in this corner, in this black corner here. So what I want to do is make it so that the border itself is not taking up pixel space of the box and pushing in its content. So I want to switch all the borders to be outlined. So how can I do that? Let me use one of these tools here. I'll say border. I'll do a search, and this is going to search all the borders in this CSS file. It's going to highlight the one I'm currently on by making it green. So let's make this here, and you can replace it with the word outline here. So we'll say outline, and then so you can say replace all. Actually, I'm going to delete this one so it doesn't confuse it. So I'm going to replace border with outline and say replace all. And so now outline is the rule that's applied. Okay, so I still have the same effect. So I wanted just to test it. But now you guys see how you can use this search tool to replace certain words, right? So you can replace that way. So now outline is the rule I have applied. Now let's put the outline on the yellow part as well. So I'm going to copy this, go to the yellow and outline. Okay, I'm going to remove it from blue. Okay. But when I put it on the yellow, oh, I see what's going on. It's because it's not its own div. So I was hoping that putting on the yellow would block it off here in the center. So it needs to be on the blue. And I need to take it off the yellow here. That way it kind of, and so I can also take it off the small, I can also take it off this square here. No, I need it on the square. I need to take it off the top row. Take it off the top row. So let's take it off the top row. Okay, now that's a little better. All right, so let's do the big picture, then clean it up at the end. Okay, so we're nearly done. We've done this much. Now we just need to create these 3 columns on the bottom, and we'll fix this up at the end. Okay, so always do the big picture, then move into the details, or you'll get caught in the details and then get frustrated. So big picture and then go back to the details. All right, so what do I want to do? I want to create 3 columns on the bottom row. 3 columns on the bottom row. Okay, so let's go there. Bottom row. Okay, where's my bottom row, my CSS? I want to go there as well. Bottom row, my CSS and HTML. Here, 3 columns. So I'll say div times 3, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter. And I got to think what I want to call each column in this bottom row here. So I'll make yellow rectangle, middle column, and red rectangle. Okay, that'll be my names for them. We said class equals yellow rectangle. The middle one was going to be class equals middle column. And then the last one was going to be class equals red rectangle. So let's do the dot yellow rectangle. And it's going to have a height of 270. And it's going to have a width of, let's see, 250. No, that's too close to. Okay, how about that? 200 pixels in a background color of yellow, right? So let's see this now. Oh, it didn't do anything. What did I do wrong? Yellow rectangle. Where is it? Did I spell it right? So let's copy and paste it over just to make sure I didn't make a typo. I did make a typo. All right, let's see it. There it is. All right, so there's my yellow rectangle. And I can increase the height of this one here. Let's make it like, there we are. So I can make this taller as well. And so here's my yellow. I think it's a little bit too wide, so let's shrink it. All right, now I have some space for the center column. I can shrink it even more. And say for the center, for the middle column, we'll say dot middle column Middle column, we have a height of 280 pixels, width of 160 as well. Background color of, what color should we make it? Blue. All right, so now here are two columns stacked one on top of another. Why are they stacked one on top of another?
We're gonna have to flex it, right?
Right, how do we flex it?
Display.
Where do we put that?
We're gonna write it in I believe maybe the yellow one,
Okay. Not
or maybe just
exactly.
do it with the bottom row
Exactly. Why?
because that's the main row.
Well,
That's what.
no, the answer is close. The reason is this here, this bottom row. Do you see how it contains it contains the yellow, middle, and red rectangle? It contains them, so it's the parent. So we want to apply display flex here because this is the parent. Okay, so we want to find the parent to make the columns appear in a row. So let's do that. Let's put display flex here. And now they appear in a row next to each other. And in this bottom row, what I can also do is make the background color red. And now that accounts for my third column on the right. So I can fill in my middle column now. It needs, let's see the image. Middle column is actually much wider. So let's make this yellow column thinner. We'll make it 130. And the middle column will make wider. Is that closer? No. Let's make it even wider.
I think the yellow one might be a little bit, maybe shorter than that, smaller for the width.
I think the middle one needs to be a little bit wider. There, that's better. Okay, so now this middle one, the middle one needs two halves, right? The top half and the bottom half. So what if we make the middle one have a background color of white instead, and then just put one inside with a color of blue? So let's make the background color of the middle column white. All right, and then we'll add one div inside the middle column and make it blue. So let's go inside the middle column. And then we'll say blue rectangle, div dot blue dash rectangle. Enter. And so let's go below middle column and say dot blue dash rectangle. And we'll say the width is going to be 220 pixels. Right. Okay, it's already going to take the width, so I just needed to write that out to think. All right, height, we need to make the height half of 280. So what's half of 280?
140.
There we are. And we need to give it a background color. Background color, blue. And there it
Maybe
is.
a border.
What's that?
Does it need a border?
It does need a border. Okay, so now we're working on the details. We're almost done. So let's start working on the borders, the outlines. So this is the, oh, it didn't actually change it here. Didn't actually change it. So let me go ahead and go over here, outline. Okay, so now this is the outline that we have. So let's add this outline. I'm trying to shorten it. Here we are. Oh, here we are. Okay. On the blue one, blue rectangle, let's add a outline. Okay. On the yellow rectangle, let's add an outline. Oh, what happened there? Didn't add? Does it need to be bigger in order for it to show? No, it's not. Bottom row. This red rectangle needs to have. Oh, you know what? Also needs the outline is the middle column here. Middle column needs an outline. Let's add an outline there. There we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is almost done. We just need to add the outlines to this area here. And this bottom we need to fix. Okay, so the height of the bottom row, let's increase the height to 290. Let's increase this to 290. Increase this to 290. Okay, that's looking a little better. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Okay. All right, now this box on the top left. Let's add the outlines there. So small square row. Let's add the outline here. Okay, and that's almost done. So let's comment this one out. We do need an outline for this one. But when we add an outline there, let's just shorten it.
Maybe it's the pixel.
Yeah, let's just shorten it. No. Okay, let's put it back. And then shorten the top. Does the top row have an outline or is the bottom row have an outline? What's adding? Oh, let's see. I think it's this one. Didn't I just change this? No. Well, you know what I could do is just target it by hovering over it. So what is it? Smalls? Is it smalls? Okay. I'm trying to eliminate this corner here. This one on the bottom left. So it has to be either smalls or the top row. Has to be smalls, right? So where else is that corner going to come from? Has to be smalls. So the outline, if I change it back to 10, what's the difference? Whoops, that's way too much. Okay, so 5, 7. It's increasing the right side, but I want the bottom part. Oh, I know what I need to do. Let's make it 10 and let's decrease the height by just a little bit. There we are. Okay. And that's it. I've recreated it. This is close enough. So this is my view. I've done this using display flex. I didn't really have to use much flex at all. Just on the columns on the bottom. So what we're gonna do now is split up into groups. I'm gonna send the image on Discord. You guys are gonna take that image and recreate it with your groups, and then we're gonna present at the end. Okay, so just like yesterday. So one person should be sharing their screen at all times, and if you're not sure of what to do, you should be the person sharing your screen. And so let's go ahead and break out into groups. Anyone have any questions about what we're doing before we get started? Okay, all right, let's get started then. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that challenge. Let's present our work. So who'd like to present first?
We can go first.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
So I'll share my screen real quick. Cool. Let me pull up the artwork. All right, so we were recreating this one right here.
Okay.
So we started with our parent div, which was our big container for pretty much the background. And inside of that, we broke it up into a top half, and we broke it up into a bottom half as well. So in the top half, we did a top left, which were these two white blocks over here. And then we made two separate divs that stacked on top of each other, both white right here. And then since the background was red, we didn't have to do anything with that really. And then for the bottom half, we created a bottom left div. So we broke it into three separate divs, the blue, the white, and the white yellow, the split. So we made our blue, and then we applied flex to the bottom so we could put them horizontally next to each other. We recreated the next div, which was a all white background. And then the last split div we created, and inside of that split, we had another div. So we could stack the white with yellow. So this top split div here, oh, there it goes, was a yellow background, and inside, is that right? Yeah, it was a yellow background. And inside of that one, or vice versa, let me check. Where's my split? Yeah, so our main split was yellow background for the base. And on top of that is our split 2, which was a white background. And for our final display, we included an image of the art inside of the art.
Just okay. You didn't want to put an image inside of that image?
That might be asking a bit too much of my skill set.
Okay. All right. Well, very nicely done. I like the final touch. I haven't seen that yet. So nice job, you guys. Do you have a
Thank
new
you.
appreciation for P.A. Mondrian and modern art?
Yeah, you can make it in HTML and CSS.
Perfectly done. Yes. Now you're an artist. So who'd like to go next? Well, actually, Anthony, did your group do the bonus challenge?
We attempted. There was some confusion, so we didn't get very far in it, but we
Okay.
gave it a shot.
Okay. Do you want to show it or not?
I don't have it on my computer.
It's a blank canvas right now.
Okay. Okay,
So-
then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I could show
Okay.
it to you, but it's not worth it.
Okay, don't worry about it. All right, who wants to go next?
Christian and I can go next if you want.
Okay, let's go ahead.
he's gonna have to share his screen. But I will say for the first one, it's gonna be pretty similar.
Okay.
There we go. So that's our final project, our final thing. I think, yeah, code's on the right side. Yeah, right. That's our bonus code that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second here.
Yeah, I don't remember where I put it.
Oh no.
Oh, it's in the thing. Obviously, that's where it's gonna be. That's dumb. All right. Oop. Sure. Okay. So if I want to put them on, maybe we're hitting the index. Can I just go here?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
We'll just open that folder in the NVM.
Yeah.
Mm.
This the one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Oh, oops.
yeah, if you can drag that over. There you go.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, it's pretty similar to Anthony and I think Eric's like presentation. We didn't have a fancy picture of the art inside the art, I will say that. But I mean, pretty much so a generic like white background for the very back there. Then we haven't changed our naming conventions, which probably would have made more sense to do after the fact, because we have red container that has a white background. I mean, it contains the redness in it, so that works out. But that's after the two white rectangles on the left side there. And then we also split it kind of the same way as the previous group, where it was like one part was up top and then one part was down the bottom. But I will say, I think we made two separate divs for the bottom right, yellow and white. And actually looking at the code, that sounds correct, or it looks correct. We did also start the little bonus. We didn't get too far, but we did get a little bit. We got that. So that's what he just showed was what we were trying to recreate, and this is how far we'd gotten. So
Okay.
that's what we were trying to recreate.
Oh, I
And
like that piece.
we didn't have much time, so I tried to find something pretty simple and easy, but that's how far we got.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. So let's round of applause for that group. And move on to the next group. Who'd like to present next?
Caleb and I can go.
Okay.
Oh, that was our little test.
Nice. This is great.
So I actually just realized that we made it a little bit harder. Well, I made it harder for Caleb and I because I screenshot from Discord so that I had this like black outline on it. And now looking at everyone's like that was not part of the art. That was just my screenshot from Discord.
Oh, it doesn't look bad.
So similar to what everyone else did, we split it into two like major parents. And then for the first parent, we made the whole container red. That way we only have to build two squares into the container.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the second parent, which is this one in the bottom, we split it up into three. So the first one's going to be the blue square. And then we did a white square, and we split into three so that we can flex this parent here. And so they all line up in a row. The white square didn't have to do anything to those two. And then the only one that we had to add another child to was the right side. Initially, we thought we would have to add a white and a yellow child, but just by making the box, what color did we make it? I think we made it yellow. Yeah, we made the box yellow. We just had to add a white, the white square on top of it. And yeah,
Nicely done. Awesome. You know what? I thought it was so clever that you added a black border to make the white border distinguished, but you did it by accident. And so it's funny that that worked out that way. So
yeah,
interesting.
we tried
Okay.
to put a shadow to the bottom too, but I don't know if it's like actually
Oh,
looking like
I can see it. There's a gray shadow, yeah. Cool. All right, nicely done.
this is all that we had for our bonus project.
Hello.
We were testing it.
Okay. Well. All right. And the last group to present. Do we have one more group? We can present whatever we have, even if it's not complete.
Kai and I can present ours.
Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this one's also sort of pretty similar. So we have the top one has the red background. So our top row just has these two squares. And then these two are two separate chunks. So these two are going to be paired together. And then these two are also on their own.
Okay. Okay. So same pattern, right? Did you make
Yeah.
two squares on the bottom right? Did you make make the background yellow and a white square?
We made the background white on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And then I just had oh wait, they actually share the same thing. They share the
Yeah.
same.
In the bottom right, we they're stacked on top of each other, and only one of them we added a specific color to, which was the yellow one, and the other one was just the shared background, because the entire background of everything is white, I think, or I don't remember if our entire background is red, and then we just placed white where we needed to, and we basically didn't say, I think the same thing that most groups did. We only, for the top row, only added the two rows on the two columns on the left, and left everything else as red, and then just put in color where there was color.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
And for our, we do have the other one.
Okay, let's see.
Wants to.
Here we go.
So this is ours, and we kind of just like blasted through this really quickly. This one I think was the easiest one to make. So we just split it. That we barely did any flex. I think there was like barely any flex, and just to put these on the right. But super easy, super simple. We kept it as three separate divs that were already stacked on top of each other, and then in each div, they each had their own flex property, pushing the smaller box all the way to the right.
Yeah, not bad. Nicely done. Be like a perfect screensaver for a phone or something. Okay, great job, guys. Really liking the bonus challenges as well. Anyone else would like to present? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let me share my screen, share the calendar, and then we'll close out the day. All right, so we are here. Oh no, this is the wrong calendar. Let me get the right one. Here we are. We have just finished our presentations of P.A. Mondrian. I will have the recordings up for this lecture as soon as possible. Okay, so by the end of the day, we want to finish these core assignments. flex our flexible columns and GitHub blocks. Okay, so let's look at GitHub blocks. This is GitHub blocks. So this shouldn't be too difficult compared to what we just did. What I see here is a giant container with 3 rows. We have the images in each one, so we have to apply flex to which ones? The rows, right? The containers for the images. So there's that. And we also have flexible columns. So let's look at that one. Here's flexible columns. All right. So we want to make the rows of columns divided by the flex property that we give it. Okay, so we have those core assignments to work on. And tomorrow morning, well, tomorrow and the next day, you guys will have Narciso as your instructor. Narciso has been with us for a couple days now, so you guys are in good hands. I will see you guys again on Monday. All right. If you didn't finish your artwork piece today, P.A. Mondrian, I encourage you to stay and finish. I'll have the rooms open that you guys can work on that. Okay. And thank you for a great Wednesday and intro to Flex. Let's get to working with Flex on all of our assignments now. Any assignment that we have from here on out, let's use Flex as the way that we organize the divs on the page. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing? Okay. We're moving on to position tomorrow. Here's some rules that we want you to scarcely use. They're like forbidden rules. Okay. So we'll do that. And then Narciso will create a website with you in the afternoon. And then on Friday, you'll have a JavaScript review day. Okay. You'll have a JavaScript review day with Narciso. And he'll also introduce you to the DOM. Okay, so the lesson that was supposed to be on Monday, he'll actually do with you on Friday. And I will review what he did on Friday, on Monday, and then do another review on Tuesday for the exam. So we're working ahead, we're moving extra fast, and we're going to be doing a lot of work with the DOM, okay? This would have been regularly all of JavaScript, what we were taught for programming basics would have been just for this lesson for 10 a.m. Okay, but we've lengthened that lesson to be a week. And so now you guys will be working with JavaScript in the DOM, connecting JavaScript to CSS. All right, you have one more day of CSS tomorrow, and then on Friday, back to JavaScript. All right, so thank you guys again. I will miss you guys for the short time I'll be away. Hope to see you soon. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions? We'll wrap it up if we don't.
Have a good trip.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen now. All right, hang around.